It is another great day here in the western edge of the Diocese of Tulsa, Payne County, and you have tuned in to the pastors of Payne here back in town, back from his
I missed you all. I missed you.
The 3
I
days.
was gone last week. I actually had a semi...
desert day sort of
No,
retreat,
I was gone.
work.
Yeah, I was gone, and then I went to a meeting. You know, like when the bishop calls, or when there's a meeting with the bishop, right? As a priest, like that, it moves very quickly to the top of the priority list.
Cancel everything.
So we had procrastinated slightly, or our schedules didn't really, especially with the beginning of the OSU school year. Father Carey's schedule, it gets a little tight. And so we had planned for Friday, and then this meeting came up. And so, but Clayton Caldwell, good job, Clayton.
He did better than you have ever done.
That's
Oh, whoa, did I say that loud?
Clayton was good. It was on, I listened to it. It was on the evangelization of culture, and really beautiful because he talked a lot about St. Paul VI and Evangelii Nunciandi, his the apostolic exhortation from 1976, which we're reading as a staff at my parish, and it's just amazing. And then I've been reading this book, or listening to this book by George Weigel about
Paul VI.
Kind of the history. It's sort of a 19th, 20th, 21st century history of the church. And anyway, a huge piece on it. So right as I was listening to the podcast, I was listening to that book on Paul VI, and I was inspired to evangelize more.
Whoa.
As I hope
Everybody should.
All of you are.
Everybody should be inspired because that's the only option.
I feel like I've just been preaching about it nonstop, and I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, it's the only option. It's why the church exists. There are people who's like, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. Well, you know what? People who are spiritual don't evangelize.
Right.
What do? It's just this narcissistic, like, I'm going to take care of myself.
Yeah, it's all about me being fed and me being...
Yes, like, how am I being taken?
The faith is meant to be shared.
The faith grows when it is shared. So
yeah, and I think there's the idea that, like, I think some people may think that, evangelization is sort of like a fad. Like, this priest, maybe talking about me. He talks a lot about evangelization, but,
And next year he's going to talk about something different.
Yeah, that's kind of our theme for the year. And then next year we're going to talk about service. No, I mean, yes, we are talking about, we're going to talk about all of that, but it's not it's not a theme. It's the reason I preached about this last weekend with the readings from Matthew chapter 16 and Peter, and upon this rock I'll build my church. That evangelization, is the reason we exist.
Correct.
Christ founded a church, the Catholic Church, for a purpose, to make disciples. So let's go.
Let's get after it.
And that's the purpose of our podcast, too.
Is it really?
Well, I mean, it gets the word out.
I thought we were just hanging out.
It's that.
And then
It's that, too.
Paying Pete FM to let us hang out.
There's a fun aspect to it. I've heard a lot of people say that lately they really like the length of the podcast, because I think there's other podcasts which are longer. Ours we're 29 and a half minutes.
We get, as they say in Spanish,
boom,
a grano. We get right to the point. Get to it.
And so it's, as we've talked about, it's a walk, a run around Boomer Lake. You're walking 15 minutes. You listen to the first half on your way to work, and the second half on your way home from work. And that's our goal. We're not doing major theological dialogues here for hours and hours.
I tell you, like, one of your friends in Tulsa shared it with one of their friends in Western Illinois.
Oh.
And so a student showed up and said, "Oh yeah, I listened to your podcast." I was like, "Wait, what? You're from Illinois?" Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's about a fourth of the listenership is from outside of Oklahoma.
Wow. Okay.
A lot of Texas, California, Guam, Turkey.
Guam.
I'm just kidding.
Well, we do have alums that are in the military that are in different places around the world now.
Anyway, we encourage it. So spread the word. Spread the word. It's very exciting.
One of the things we need to get out to the good people of God, especially your parishioners, but also other people who are out there in listening land, who are thinking like, my kids, they need good, holy friends. They need to build this life of friendship. Remember those 4 things from Acts 2:40 something or other. It's not just the teaching of the apostles. It is the breaking of the bread. It is this community also. There's this necessity of like these friendships in the Lord Jesus Christ.
We were made for one another. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man and woman are made for relationship.
Yep.
Okay. So
to love and to be loved.
So St. Francis Xavier, west side of town. It's when it was made, when that church was built, it was to be the family parish of Stillwater. So it's adults and little kids and the elderly and the sick and the homebound. That's their parish. So they know like
Spanish speakers.
Yeah, Spanish speakers.
Boom.
All different demographics. Catholic Charities is now under the umbrella of St. Francis Xavier.
Yep.
So all of that is what's going on out there? I live across the parking lot, but it's this sort of mystery that is over there.
I gotcha. Well, we have an exciting fall planned for kids. So I'll give kind of the big picture. So ultimately, what's the goal of our parish? To evangelize. What's the goal of our parish? To make disciples. And so that whether you're 100 years old or whether you're 5. We want you to know the Lord Jesus and to make him the center of your life.
What about 1-year-olds?
That's what 1-year-olds too. They're just a little more of a work in progress.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
So here's what we're doing. So traditionally, a lot of times in the parish, and I'm not being critical of this model, but this model has not been working for us. And I think parents would agree. If parents really think about it, I think the kids would agree. Even many of our catechists would agree. What we have been doing for kids has been kind of the traditional Sunday morning religious education, RE. Kids come, all the 3rd graders are in a classroom with a catechist, and there's some lesson that is taught.
They are hostages for the next 45
And
minutes.
it's a little more, it's kind of more academic. It's more informational. One thing that COVID, so I was talking, Father Pratt and I were talking about this just yesterday. COVID is an accelerator. COVID is making things develop quickly. I mean, we had talked for a while about like live stream before COVID. We had talked about like live streaming mass as a means of evangelization.
And then all of a sudden, wham.
When COVID happened, it took us 3 days to figure it out after 6 months of conversation. Online giving. Right? Pre-COVID, people were like, we should probably do that at some point. COVID, oh my gosh, we better do this right now.
Do it now.
And it took us 48 hours to figure it, So this is actually, COVID has given us an opportunity to kind of blow up our Sunday morning religious education and to look at it differently. And so what we're offering, we even changed the name. We're calling it Xavier Kids. Our parish, St. Francis Xavier, we're calling it Xavier Kids. We made a little logo. It's really awesome. So what we're going to do is every week we are going to, so we're doing most of it online, but with an in-person component. So online, we're kind of producing in-house online content videos that will be for any kid pre-K through 5th grade. And the idea is it'll go out via email through a system called Flocknote, and it'll go to parents. So here's another sort of basic principle, right? Parents are the primary educators of their children.
Correct. Of the faith, yes.
The parents are number one. And so if parents do not teach the faith, you could have the most rockin', unbelievable parish and program, but if the parents are not on board, the kids are not going to get it. Now, you could also have the most amazing parents, and the parish is terrible, and the kids are still going to get the faith.
Correct.
Now, what we want to be is rockin' parents who are dedicated and have Jesus as the center of their life and want to pass on the faith to their children, and a totally rockin' parish who's going to help them to do it better. So that's ultimately where we're going. So every Saturday, parents of pre-K through 5th grade kids are going to get a video. It's about a 20-minute video, and it's a little more like it's like upbeat. There's music. They're singing, but then there's like really good content, really good Catholic content on the saints, on some like particular teaching of the church, but presented in a way that will really be engaging for kids.
Okay, well let me ask you.
Please.
So you just turn the video on and let the kids watch it, or?
So we would say parents should watch it, and then ideally watch it with your kid.
Okay.
but I know that may not be the reality in many places. So a parent should watch it and then let their kid watch it. And then coming from that video, then we're gonna have with it discussion questions for the whole family.
So you, for example, like there's a saint in the video. Each week there's a saint.
I think we're starting out, with the little Therese of Lisieux.
Therese of Lisieux. So then you could do some sort of little art class of Therese of Lisieux. You could figure out where Lisieux is in France.
So parents,
you can figure out her birthday, her feast day. Her birthday and Father Karol Wakulich's birthday are the same day. So you could celebrate her birthday and Father Karol Wakulich's birthday, which is you all can look as dates, important dates.
So parents they'll get the video,
okay,
and then they'll get discussion questions.
Got it.
Which then we hope will be sort of fodder for discussion all throughout the week, on their way to mass, over dinner, on their way to school, whatever it may be. And then we're also going to include some supplemental material. So this is
supplemental material.
So those parents who want it. So let's say the lesson is something related to Saint Therese. With that will come, like a biography of Saint Therese, and like this, a story of a soul, which is the life of Saint Therese. Now,
you're gonna have 5 years.
We're not
5-year-olds are gonna be.
We're
reading
not gonna have
Therese.
the first grader reading Story of a Soul, but for the parent who says, "Dang, who is this Therese of Lisieux? Oh my gosh, where has she been?" Now the parent, can go deeper. And there's also kids' books on Saint Therese and all that.
Well, picture books. Yeah.
So that's sort of the first phase to get kids kind of discussing, to get kids some knowledge. But our goal is, this is the kind of the phrase we're using, we want Xavier Kids to be not so much informational as transformational. I know that sounds sort of trite.
No, because there's that, what St. Paul says, let us be transformed.
Yeah, it can't just be head knowledge.
Right.
There's plenty of like really knowledgeable atheists out there, right, who can tell you all about the life of Jesus, but have never been converted. And so we want this conversion to come about in the life of our kids. Okay, so that's kind of, that can be done anytime during the week. So we're going to send it out on Saturdays, but that's kind of the beauty of it. So parents, they can do it. You can do it on Sunday mornings. You can do it on Wednesday night. You can do it, whatever that may be.
Yep.
Whatever's best for the life of the family, because parents are the primary educators of their children. And then the other piece is on Wednesday evenings. So we have adoration all day, adoration of the Blessed Sacrament all day Wednesdays.
Okay.
So what we're encouraging families to do is to come physically to the church, certainly for Sunday Mass, but also on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 for adoration. And then also at that same time, we have confessions going on.
What?
So Father Robert and I are going to both be there, so we'll be able to kind of handle the crowd.
Okay.
So the way we talk about it is from 6 to 7. You mentioned kind of the need for community, the need for friendship. 6 to 7 is friendship with Jesus, the vertical dimension, right? You and the Lord, your family and the Lord.
Go on.
In prayer. And then from 7 to 8, in the parking lot, community with each other. 6 to 7 vertical, 7 to 8 horizontal.
Okay.
Friendships with each other. Now we're going to do that all in with appropriate spacing and masks and all that. We're going to have a little food, a little music, just an opportunity for parents to get to know each other and for kids to see each other. Maybe who are homeschooled, maybe who are going to school online and are not around other kids. They're going to have that opportunity to kind of be there for each other. So that's what we're doing pre-K through 5th grade. And I'm pretty excited about it. What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some really good stuff.
We like it. We're fans.
It's well organized. It has the I think it also it's organized, and you give parents a material and they could teach a swath of stuff, like a spectrum of things in there. Like if they get to something and they're like, well, I want to add this to it. They can teach their kid just a little. But then it doesn't. What do you say? It doesn't put upon the parent like, I have to figure out what to teach my kid. It's the church. Yeah. The church is supplying. This is why we tithe to our parishes, so we can pay for more employees to do these things, to give you all resources. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's going to be. I can see there's going to be some challenges to it, because it's a new way.
Yes, and it relies a lot on parents. So I think parents who traditionally, I used to see this a lot, we used to see this in our work at Bishop Kelly. I think sometimes there was a mentality among parents is, look, Father, I'm paying you to religiously educate my kid. Don't be sending stuff home for me to do. I'm too busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that mentality is also in the parish of, look, we go to church and I send my kid to Sunday morning RE so that I don't have to do anything at home. And we would greatly push back at that mentality. If the parents are faithful, if the parents are on board, then the kids will pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes to the old, I'm doing a lot of rhyming today, informational, not transformational, not informational, that the faith is more caught than taught.
Ooh.
It's caught. It's in the home. The kids pick it up.
Right.
If it's important to parents, then the kids are going to pick it up. But also, I'd also say to parents who are listening, if it's not important to parents, the kids are going to pick that up too.
Right.
I
I 100% agree.
So that's what we're doing for the kids. So we're calling it Xavier Kids, pre-K through 5th grade. We're pretty excited about it.
One thing I love about like this new idea of reestablishing parents being the first teachers of the faith is that's what parents do in everything. They're the first teachers of how to walk. They're the first teachers of how to eat at the dinner table.
Yep.
They're the first teachers of how to be polite and forgive one another. Parents are the first teachers of how to use the toilet. They are the first teachers of, do I need to go anymore? Everything.
Yeah.
They're the first teachers of everything. And like when a child goes out of the home, I see it in college, that they take on those characteristics of their parents throughout their life because they've been taught from the very beginning.
Yes.
Shaped, formed, educated right from the very beginning because it's part of their very life. I had a buddy in grade school who used to write really strange. Like he would put his pen between his middle finger and his index finger to write. And then I remember being over at his parents' house and I saw his dad writing and he picked it up from his father.
Yeah.
So there's all these things we pick up from our mothers, our fathers, and then we make them part of our very life throughout life.
And some of those are virtues, and some of those are vices. Yep.
And so is the faith. The faith is then supposed to be in this home. Yes, can it be done at the parish as well, kind of in a different way? Yeah, the first teachers of the faith.
But if you think about it, our Sunday morning religious education, it's an hour and 15 minutes on Sundays before COVID. And so we're actually not meeting on Sundays for the immediate future. Hopefully after COVID, we'll get back to Sunday mornings. But, okay, that's what, 30 weeks, 35, 40 weeks a year. So that's 60 hours of religious education in a year via the parish, if you're sort of just doing the minimum.
Uh-huh.
That's not a lot.
No.
A kid will watch that much TV in 2 weeks, or more, It has to, if the expectation of parents is that the parish is going to do all of the children's religious education, then the odds of the child growing up in the faith and in love with the Lord is going to be very, very small.
Right. Love with the Lord, being a disciple, and entering into the kingdom of God in heaven.
Yep.
That is, because right now they say that's like 75% of Catholics leave the church, and intellectually they leave the church somewhere around 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Right. So we got serious. Yeah, we got serious.
So
work
now
to
we
do.
have to we bring it back, and what I really find beautiful is when college students get evangelized for the first time, they like meet the Lord Jesus and they start living a virtuous. They go back and they teach it to their parents, and their parents are like, "This is awesome!"
Yeah. Where has this been?
So just thank you,
So
thank you, parents, for doing this.
Yeah. So I think our other piece too is that then we're offering things for adults. So that parents can grow in their faith. So we have Discovering Christ coming up, which is very introductory, very charismatic. The charisma is kind of the basics of the faith, that Jesus, was born, lived, died for our sins, and rose again, and now lives with God forever and walks by our side every day, right? The charisma, beautiful. So we're offering things for parents to help parents become better at prayer, to help parents know the Lord, so then that can then be shared with their children. So the other piece is what we're doing for our kind of middle school and high schoolers.
Oh, yeah.
So with COVID, it makes it difficult to kind of do what we've always done, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So we're having to be kind of creative. So we're going to meet on Sunday nights, which we always have done for the last, I think, 4 years. So Sunday nights, middle school and high school. Edge, we call it, middle school, 6th through 8th grade. And then LifeTeen, which is 9th through 12th grade. So we're going to meet in person, but it's going to be a lot of outside stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Games and just kind of and a little food and drink to kind of get things started and get kids meeting each other and knowing each other. And then we're going to move inside for some serious teaching, but we're going to do that in the nave, in the church, not in the youth center, so we can spread out.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Then we're also going to be recording that so that those who are staying home, maybe you got COVID, or maybe your mom or dad got COVID, or maybe you were exposed to someone at school, you're not allowed to leave your house, or you're kind of, as many families are, they're uncomfortable.
Or they have an illness or something.
Yeah. So that's going to be live streamed so that from home they'll be able to participate in the content. But what I'm really excited about, and this is all coming out of LifeTeen out of Phoenix, they are really trying to help young people confront kind of the issues of the age. So, for example, the first topic right out of the gate is going to be atheism. So our middle schoolers, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, our high schoolers for sure, 9th through 12th grade, college students certainly, but everybody, right? We all have people in our lives who maybe don't believe in God. What do you do? What do you do with them? How do you talk to them? Maybe they want to argue, right? Maybe they're not only are they an atheist, but they're an atheist who wants to convince you to give up your faith and follow.
Right. Ooh.
How do you respond philosophically, theologically,
charitably,
and charitably? Yeah, of course. To somebody who does not believe in God. How do you?
Correct.
What do you do? So anyway, that's kind of our first topic right out of the gate. So this is not sort of mamby-pamby stuff.
How do you make bean plates?
Right.
Well,
and then later on we're going to get into issues of sexuality on the topic of theology of the body.
Okay.
John Paul II's beautiful teaching on the complementarity of men and women and all that goes with that. And of course, that's middle school and high school. That's a topic that's on people's minds, certainly on parents' minds. Sort of responding to the issues of the day. So it's going to be really good. It's going to be good content. But again, the need for some of that in-person community among kids where possible and done safely, masks and everybody and people spread out. And then, but really getting to really good content that's really going to help kids to be able to live their faith in our modern world. What do you think of that?
Oh,
we're pretty excited. We're pretty excited about it. So we need parents to get on board with it. It's new. It's a little different than what we've done in the past. But I also think it's going to be better. It's more Christ-centered. It's just better. And we're going to getting the parents involved, and there'll be some small groups and stuff like that.
It's just starting like. From the
and
ground
I hope
up.
You can hear how excited I am about it. And
yes, it seems to be just like starting from the ground up. It's starting
back to the basics is what it is.
Because that's the way the faith was always transmitted. It was always transmitted by in a way the clergy to the people, and then the people then talked about it with their family, and then that faith was always transmitted through the sort of the life of the family. And like Basil the Great, all his parents and siblings are canonized saints.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, Basil the Great, all his family, canonized saints. And
the family, it just has to be. I mean, you see it all the time. You have students coming to college who the faith was not important in their family, and therefore it was not important to them.
Correct.
It's a rare occasion. It's beautiful, but rare. Clayton Caldwell from last week, like his story, he kind of really encountered the Lord. Even he'd been to Catholic schools and been to, church
Correct.
going, but really had a conversion as a freshman in college.
Correct.
Now, I don't know his family, but I think in a lot of families, the faith is not the center of their life.
In Texas, it's football probably.
for some people, sports are their religion. We didn't make it to mass because we had baseball. Well, your kid is picking that up. That obviously baseball is more important than the faith. Now maybe that's been the route your family has gone. Well, here's a year to turn that around.
Mm-hmm.
And even for parents, sometimes to admit, hey, it hasn't been important to us, but it is now.
Correct.
And so going forward,
yes.
we made these mistakes in the past. Going forward, the faith is number one. And we're going to build our Sunday around Mass, not Mass sort of fitting in maybe.
Correct. Because a lot of these other activities are now gone of baseball and soccer and traveling.
A lot of it's still happening. So I think for parents, what we're doing with Xavier Kids, pre-K through 5th, Edge, which is 6th through 8th, and LifeTeen, 9th through 12th, parents are going to be given a lot of material and a lot of opportunity to really engage the faith for themselves and then to do that with their children. And the parish is going to be a support system for that because parents are the primary educators of their children. What a great gift parents have, an opportunity parents have to share the faith.
I love it. I'm really excited about this.
We're gearing up. So our community nights, Wednesdays, starts the first week of September with adoration 6 to 7, communion with the Lord, and 7 to 8 out in the parking lot, community with one another. And then Edge and LifeTeen start September.
That's Sunday.
Not like the next Sunday, September. I think it's 12th or 13th,
13th,
whatever it is. Then we got RCIA starting up for adults, and that starts September 13th.
Now ours starts last Tuesday.
We're excited. So if anybody's out there and listening and is interested in learning more about the Catholic Church or wants to become a Catholic, you give me a shout. You call me. 405-372-6886.
You sure that's your number? I don't even know my office number.
It's 405-372-6886.
That's
or email me, FROBrien, FROBRIEN, at sfxstillwater.org. You give me a shout. Let's talk. Let's become Catholic. We already have, I think we got about 15 people interested already.
And where are they coming from? We've
got a couple professors, some kind of recent college graduates who have just moved to town, some spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, teachers, just various people we've kind of been in dialogue with. Sometimes people we had a guy just kind of random off the street. Walked in, he met with Father Robert last we'd was like, we'd never met him before, never seen him before, and he said, I've been like researching the Catholic faith and I want to become Catholic.
What?
Well, all right. Let's go.
Hot
so
diggity
dog. We're gonna help. We're gonna help. And people come, at all different levels,
Right.
People who have never been to church ever, people who maybe were raised in a particular faith and are want to come into full communion with the Catholic Church. So anyway, they come in all shapes and sizes, and we love it. And we're gonna be there and try to help them love the Lord and His church.
I'm kind of shocked because I'm just hearing about all this.
Well, I mean,
it's funny. We live in the same house, but we do two different ministries.
Yeah, I know kind of what you're up to, and you kind of know what I'm up to.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think it shows the distinct ministries that we're involved in, but also that there's a lot happening in Stillwater.
There is.
And so, let's go. Come on. I think for you to keep up with me and for me to keep up with you would be very difficult.
It was when I told you about our 9:09 p.m. mass changes, which is like boosted our mass attendance by probably 10%, 15%. You were like, what? You just kind of looked at me like glazed over eyes. And it's
hilarious. Every person at my parish who I say, they say, what time are the masses at St. John's? And I said 10, noon, 5, and 9:09. And they get this weird look on their face, like 9:09. And then every time I say it to a college student, 10, noon, 5, 9:09, the college student gets a big smile on their face. It's so funny.
Interesting our first weekend, how the masses have sort of leveled out, that the numbers are starting to balance out equally.
Yep.
I just hope people don't wait till 9:09 to show up for mass now.
They better not. All right, we're going to break out of here. But thank everyone for joining us. Pray for our kids as we begin this great adventure of COVID discipleship and all that it entails. And pray for parents too. Being a parent in today's world is not easy. and they need our prayers.
Thanks for being moms and dads.
They need the Lord. All right, we'll be back next week. I think we're going to talk about gossip.
Whoa.
Dun,
Tell me
dun.
more. Tell me more.
Have a great week.
Peace.